In this video, I'm gonna go over how my rack is set up with all of my analog gear. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and I'm gonna take you over to the rack and actually be pointing at things as I describe how I have it set up. And before we head over to the rack, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and also check out the description. In the description, I have links to my music, my Instagram, my website, and things like that. Okay, now let's head over and look at the rack, and I'm gonna go over how it's set up, kind of how it's wired, and also how I use it in conjunction with my DAW. Okay, so here's a shot of the whole rack, top to bottom, but what we're gonna focus on to start with is this top section. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna go over is what I have going in and out of my audio interface. So output 1 and 2 are for my monitors left and right. As you can see here, input number 1 and 2 are on the front side of the Focusrite 18i20. Output number 3 goes to my preamp, and then to my compressor, and then back into input number 3. Output 4 and 5 then go down to my stereo bus, which I'll go over later. And then I have output number 6 going to my guitar pedal loop. So I still have output 7 and 8 available. And all those outputs, they go back into the same input. So out of output number 3, and then into input number 3 on the back. Okay, now that we have that out of the way, I'm gonna go over how I use this setup. So let's say I'm recording my guitar amp. This right here is the input from my guitar mic. That then feeds the preamp, goes right to the compressor, and then from the compressor, I have that go to input number 1. So I run it only on the front end in this situation. So it goes from guitar cab, preamp, compressor, input number 1. I use the same process for bass, vocals, things like that. Now I can also use this setup as an insert in my DAW. And if you have not seen my video on that, I'll have it in the description below. But like I said at the beginning, output number 3 from the Focusrite goes to the preamp, then to the compressor, and then back into input number 3. Having it set up this way allows me to run something on the front end with my preamp and compressor, and in my DAW running it as an insert. And all I have to do to switch it over to do that is press this line button right there. So when line is pressed in, it is accepting the audio signal from the back. When it's not pressed in, it's accepting this signal right here. So I've recorded the guitar amp, I'm moving on with my life. Now I need to mix a snare drum sample that someone sent me. It's in the DAW already. I'm gonna press that button, load that insert onto that snare channel, and now that snare channel is coming from output number 3 into this, into the compressor, and then back into 3, and then my level adjustment for that would be right there if needed. So these two units, the preamp and compressor, work together all the time with the way I have it set up. A bonus of that is it only takes up 1 send and 1 return. And I can use it on the front end with vocals or guitar amp or bass or anything like that. And I can also use it as an insert in my DAW. And once I get a sound I like with a snare drum or kick drum, I will then just print that track. All right, so now we've moved down to my stereo chain, and that includes 2 Warm Audio EQs and their bus comp. This setup I mainly put together to run on my master bus, but I can also run it on individual channels as well. So the way it's set up in the system is output number 4 from the Focusrite goes here. This is left. From the left, it goes into the left input of the compressor, and then from the output compressor left, it goes back into the audio interface. And of course, output number 5 goes into the right EQ, then into the right input of the compressor, and then out from the compressor into input number 5 on the interface. A nice way about how these are set up is, let's say I'm wanting to EQ some room mics on a drum kit, but I don't want to add any compression. Well, what I can do is I can actually unengage the compressor, and therefore it'll be bypassed pretty much. But the signal will still be going through the compressor and be getting some sort of color. Same thing goes with the EQ. Let's say I want compression, but I don't want any EQ. All I gotta do is turn the compressor on, come over here, turn the EQ portion of the EQs off. Now the signal is basically kind of bypassing through the EQs, but it's still getting some color from the internals of it. But most all of the time, I'll have both engaged, and I'll be using them on my master bus. And the nice thing, the way these are set up, is instead of using 1, 2, 3, 4 ins and outs on my audio interface, now I'm using half as many. I'm only using a left and right. And the same thing goes with my preamp and compressor up top, is I'm only using 1 in and out versus 2, which basically means I have more ins and outs for more gear, right? Output number 6 is for my guitar pedal loop. That is still a work in progress, mostly used for just demoing stuff, but I've got 1 good pedal there. Unless you like these, then I've got 3 good pedals. But anyway, still work in progress, but that's a real simple setup. Basically it comes out of output number 6 through the guitar pedals and then back into input number 6 on the audio interface. Well, there you have it. I hope you found that informational and interesting. If you have any questions on how I have my stuff set up, please leave a comment below. I'll do my best to answer it. And also please like this video and subscribe to the channel. And until next time, see you later.